just need a few seconds more for it to ramp up. Everything looks great. Almost there. And the meeting is yours, Mr. Chair. Let me know if you need anything.
Okay, thanks, Ken. I'd like to call to order the Lyon Township Downtown Development Authority regular meeting for Tuesday, December 8th, 2020. And we are starting at 7:06 p.m. Ken, could you put up a flag for us so we can do pledge allegiance to the flag? Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America,
and
to the republic
for which
it stands, one nation,
under
God,
indivisible,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Tim, would you recite the mission statement?
Yeah, I don't have it. I don't have it in front of me. I'm sorry.
Mark, could you?
Oh, I'd love to.
Thank you.
The mission of the Lyon Township DDA is to assist public and private development efforts to stimulate residential, commercial, and industrial growth and create a vibrant community where people live, work, and play.
Thank you. Rose, could you do a roll call for the board members, please?
I could do that, and I guess you have to tell me where you are physically at right now. Is that, Tina,
Yes.
isn't that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, Carissa,
Here, New Hudson, Michigan.
John,
Here, Lyon Township.
Jason,
President, Davisburg.
Tim.
At the barber shop. Where else would I be?
Okay,
New Hudson.
Adorno,
And what?
Present, Northville, Michigan.
Troy,
New Hudson.
Paula,
Commerce Township.
and Mark.
Here, Brighton.
And Robert is absent.
Okay, thank you. Has everybody had an opportunity to review the consent agenda? And any questions?
Yeah, I had some questions regarding Merge Live. Why do we have 3 invoices for one meeting?
So it's not one meeting, there are 3 separate meetings. So we had our Merge Live meeting for our DDA meeting on November 10th. And then as required by the new DDA PA 57 laws, I had to do 2 informational meetings. And those also had to be recorded and broadcasted live virtually. And so the one meeting was held on November 18th and the other one on the 19th. So if you look under the descriptions, it says online hosting, DDA regular meeting November 10th, electronic DDA info meeting November 18th, and electronic info meeting on the 19th.
Okay.
Thanks, Jason. Good questions. Anybody else? Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second.
And in the amount?
Oh, I just closed it. All right, so. Motion to approve the consent agenda as presented November 2020 in the amount of $3,217.25.
Thank you. Tim seconded it?
Second.
Your second.
Who was
Mark?
the second? Mark
Mark.
was the second,
Mark
right?
was.
Okay.
He beat me.
Okay. Okay, Carissa,
Yes.
It was a yes.
okay. John,
Yes.
Jason, Jason,
Yes.
Tim.
Can you hear me?
Uh-huh. Tim,
Yes, ma'am.
Adorno,
Yes.
Troy,
Yes.
Paula,
Yes.
Mark.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Any announcements or communications?
I think we have to approve the agenda first,
Oh.
don't we?
Sorry, that was the approval of the agenda, correct?
That was the
No,
consent.
that was the consent.
Sorry, skipped one. Do I have
Yeah.
a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second? Is there a second?
I'll
Support.
second.
Who is that?
Tim.
Tim.
Thank you, Tim.
Okay.
Can you do me a favor, because this helps too, if anyone was listening audio wise, is if you make the motion, then state your name, and then if you second, state your name. That would help too.
Gotcha.
I make a
Okay,
motion to
Mark.
approve. This is Mark Zerlag.
And I second it. It's Tim Minor.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Mark,
Yes.
Paula,
Yes.
Troy. Okay, Troy,
Yes, Troy.
Adorno,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Jason,
Yes.
John.
Yes.
I think, did I miss somebody?
Yes.
Carissa, I think I missed you. Okay, motion carried.
And now announcements and communications. Anything from anybody?
The only thing I would like to say, I would like to say thank you to all the volunteers, Troy, Tina, everybody that put all the effort into the Methodist Church selfie stations and all the great things that and I know Paula Ruffin was part of it. I know there's a lot of people I'll probably miss, but I wanted to just tell everyone how the township really appreciates it, and the DDA should appreciate it. You guys have went far above anything we can imagine at a very short notice in time. And I just want to let you know that we really, really, really appreciate all of you. And I mean that from the heart of the township. You guys, you make me proud. Every time I get to talk about the great people of Lyon Township, I'm very proud. So thank you all for that. And that I think the kids are going to have a wonderful time. Just thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have one announcement, and we're doing a mega toy drop with on December 12th, toy drop off at New Hudson Inn. It's being basically sponsored by New Hudson Inn, Wonder Jump, Paula Ruffin at the New Chiropractic Wellness Center, and Dan Ween from Wholehearted Winery. He's going to have Santa there. So if you can, drop off toys anytime. But the 12th is the big day for us. We're trying to collect 5,000 toys.
What's the deadline on that? The final day for collection?
Sunday, the 13th, because the truck leaves on the 14th for the toys. So we had
Troy,
some
I'm sorry, where do we drop them off at?
New Hudson Inn,
Okay.
Do they need to be wrapped?
unwrapped new toys, no stuffed animals.
Good question.
Yeah, we had one of Stoney's friends, Chris Stone's friends, brought 5 brand new Mongoose bicycles the other night. And so we have one of my trucks there with the band. The singers are singing in the back of the truck, and our goal is to kick them out of the back of the truck because there's too many toys and they have to sing on the platform. So. Okay, that's all I have. Call to the public. Ken, do we have anybody on board from the public?
Not at this time, Mr. Chair.
Okay, so we will move on. Number 8, unfinished business. Number 9, Leslie, would you like to update us on 9A?
Yes. Since the last DDA meeting, at that meeting, we discussed the Milford Road culvert and, the grant that the township received from the MEDC that could go towards the design of the culvert replacement. And we spent quite a bit of time on that topic at your November meeting. I guess this is the December meeting, discussing that and what is the best way to proceed. Since that meeting, I had the opportunity to meet administratively with John Dolan and Tina Archer to talk about the best method to move forward. Specifically talking about the Southeast Ring Road that we had done a considerable amount of design work on. The next step for that project would be applying for a wetland permit and floodplain permit. It's a joint application with the state of Michigan. And based on our administrative meeting, I think that might be the best way to move forward and pause the conversation on the Milford Road culvert replacement until we get feedback from Eagle, who has jurisdiction over the wetland and floodplain permitting. And that's just something we've discussed internally. Today, we had a follow-up conversation before tonight's meeting to discuss what those costs would be. And it appears that a proposal would be necessary from us to the DDA for your January meeting to actually itemize those costs, what it would take to put that permit application together to submit to the state.
Okay.
So that's a very brief summary of what has happened in the last month.
Thank you. Any questions from anybody?
How long does it take for the permit to get developed?
The application, I haven't spent time outlining exactly how much time it would take, but I think it would be at least a month, possibly even a month and a half. There's quite a bit of documentation you have to submit, supporting documentation, including the plans. So we have to revisit the plans, make some modification to those in order to submit that application. And they also require what we call floodplain panels and wetland panels. So they're specific profiles you have to generate for their review. So that's part of it as well. And that work has not been previously completed.
Anyone else? Okay, thanks. MEDC grant, Tina, is that you or Leslie?
It's me. So with the comments that Leslie just made, another discussion that we had administratively was if we take a step back from the culvert and focus on the application for the road with the DEQ, then we really do need to get back to the MEDC because they were willing to extend that if it was obviously tied to the culvert project. And so the state's budget ended at the end of September. And so they were really pushing the envelope with us on working with us on trying to take advantage of that grant, considering that they really do need to close out their fiscal year with those monies because they were approved back in the previous fiscal year. So with this in mind, the direction I think we should take is to inform the MEDC that we are grateful that they had offered us this grant tied to the culvert project. However, we are taking a step back, and I think that we should let them know that we would like to withdraw our grant from them. And then what we can do is when we hear back from the DEQ on very specific types of work that may need to get done in order for us to move forward, we can take advantage of their site grant opportunities where you're looking at more like $100,000, $200,000 grants versus the $50,000. So I can request an extension for maybe another 30 days, but we won't even have a proposal in front of us on this application for the road within that time frame. So I'd rather not leave them hanging and be able to get back to them with direction on what we'd like to take. So I'm just looking for all of your input on that as well.
Yeah, if we can't use the money within the time limit, I think it's the right thing to do to let them know that we're going to respectfully and politely decline. Hopefully they'll appreciate us being right up front with them as opposed to dragging them out so that our next request, they won't have a sour taste in their mouth that we strung them out and strung them out.
Any other comments, thoughts?
I support what Mark said. I've been on that other end where they're waiting. So.
Jason, how about you? Tim?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Mark. I guess I would add to that in essence, we didn't have very many meetings this year due to COVID. So obviously there was an impact on us being able to be prompt in making decisions on this. So that might be something that we try to demonstrate to them that, we are serious, but, due to circumstances that were out of our control, this maybe go towards in our favor for reapplying.
And we did express that to them when we asked for the extension as well, making reference to the fact that COVID really set us back this year on meeting some objectives, which is why they were allowing us that extra leeway.
Paula, Carissa, how do you guys feel?
Yeah, I agree with that. Is there a timeline on when the DEQ, and I don't understand completely the project, so you can clarify if I'm saying this incorrectly, but my understanding is that we've got to get the DEQ to do what they need to do before we can actually move forward with the project, which then precludes us from using the money at this point. So am I correct on that?
Essentially, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So do we have any idea, I'm just thinking applying, because reapplying can take time, or applying can take time, reapplying can take time. Are we able to have any kind of a timeline with the DEQ as far as when they would come in and do what's needed so that then we can time that appropriately for the next wave of grant?
Leslie, do you want to comment on that?
Sure. I can't give you an exact time frame on Eagle's response. Typically, I would expect them to take probably 6 months. And Adorno just went through that process. Is that about the time frame, Adorno?
Yeah, it was March when we got our final applications in, and it was October before we got our permits to start over on sites.
Now, we might hear some feedback from them during that process, which I would expect. I just couldn't really comment on their schedule. But that is, in my experience, they take the 6 months plus.
Okay, thank you. Do we need to make a motion then, Tina, to return the grant, or make a motion to, send it back?
I've done this before, but I think that's a good approach to take, just so that everyone's on board. So I guess it would be to decline the grant money that had been awarded for the culvert project, specifically for engineering design of the culvert project. So we are declining the grant award for that project specifically.
In the amount of $50,000.
Correct.
Okay. Would somebody like to make a motion for that and second it, please?
I'll make a motion to return the grant money from the MEDC for the culvert engineering project of $50,000.
I'll second that. Tim Minor.
I'm sorry, who's second?
Tim.
Minor.
Rose, you're up.
Okay, Adorno,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Carissa,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Jason,
Yes.
Paula,
Yes.
Troy,
Yes. State your
John.
name.
Yes.
John.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Okay, thank you. Motion carries. Tina, DDA bylaws?
Yeah, I just wanted to give you an update. Now that we have not had, it has been so crazy putting together the displays and everything else going on that has really captured a lot of my time and Troy's time. So we haven't had a chance to call an executive meeting. That would have been with Mark and Troy and Robert to go over the bylaws. So considering the holidays and everything, we'll make sure that that's done so that we can get moving forward in the new year and get those approved, reviewed, and then recommended to the DDA board and then approved. So I just want to give you an update on that.
Okay, thank you. 2021 budget, Tina again?
Yeah, so last night, the township board approved all of the different budgets for the township, including the DDA budget. And there are two changes that were brought up. One was in regards to the cell phone stipend for if we were to have a part-time person like we had John Bell in that role. We do have money set aside for either a contract worker or some type of additional help that might be needed in 2021. And so we just left the stipend in the budget, but we had a trustee who was not comfortable with that being there. So she was pretty adamant about wanting to have that removed from the budget. And so we can always add that back in. I didn't think it was something that was worth having a big debate over because it's like $40 a month. And again, it's not guaranteed to be spent. It's just we were budgeting for it. And so that was one change that was requested. And then Lisa Blades also suggested that the DDA consider a project. It's not a project that we have discussed before, nor is it a project in our capital improvement plan. But she had asked Leslie for a quote on what it might cost to complete the connectivity of a hole in the sidewalk project over there by Line Oaks Plaza. Sorry, running a little slow today. Line Oaks Plaza, where we have a gap on the west side of the road between the plaza and the Huron Valley Trail. And so she asked for just an estimate, and it was $69,000. And so she was asking for that to be put into our budget. And I just reminded her that, you know, that would be a capital improvement project, anything over $25,000. And I said I would be happy to take it back to the DDA board for us to discuss. And that's something we can discuss in January. But that was the only comments that were made in regards to our budget. So once we get all those numbers, like once we have that plugged into the spreadsheet, then I can get a copy to everyone and we can revisit this again in January, just so that we're all comfortable, obviously moving forward. But the township board did approve it as it was presented, with the exception of the stipend.
Is that it?
Mhm.
Thank you. And now on to new business. What is now 10A, consideration to have chairperson sign a facilities use agreement with New Hudson United Methodist Church.
Yes, so in the packet, I've included the facility use agreement. And what had happened was when Troy and I had approached the church in order to use their front lawn and their property, we had asked the church to go back to their insurance company to request what might be needed for us to move forward. And they had requested that we sign this document as a facility use agreement. And I took that document and then shared it with the township insurance company and also with our attorney. And I included in the email the comments back from both of them stating that they were comfortable with the wording in this agreement and that it would meet our requirements as well as the church's requirements. And then one of the requirements of the agreement was to make sure that we would have the church added as an additional insured under the DDA insurance with the township. And so I had our insurance company go ahead and do that. The other item, you'll see there's one item number 14, that I talked with the pastor to have them add in. And that is that, they salt and plow their parking lot and also their sidewalks. They have a contractor who does that for them every week. And so I wanted to add in that they would also be responsible for ensuring that if there was snow or any type of ice, that they would ensure that the sidewalk that is being used to access this display would be salted. And so what we're asking tonight is that the DDA consider approving the use of this agreement and then also authorizing then Troy as the chairperson to sign it. And I'm open to any questions you might have.
I
Anyone?
apologize, I don't have it right in front of me, but is there a time limit on the
Yeah.
adding the church? Okay.
Yes. So I think I took the time frame. I think it was 6 weeks, and I think we took it to January 9th. And then, of course, if we decide to use the property for some other type of event or whatever, then we would come back and sign a different agreement.
And I would add that both the our insurance company and our attorney were comfortable with the verbiage on there too.
Mhm.
Any questions? Any other questions?
And this agreement is also retroactive back to November 25th.
Do we have a motion to approve this?
I'll make a motion to approve the facilities use agreement with New Hudson Methodist Church to be signed by our chairperson.
Gondole and support.
Okay, Tim,
Yes.
Carissa,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Adorno,
Yes.
Jason,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Troy,
Yes.
Paula.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Tina, meeting dates for 2021.
Yeah, so in the packet, you will see a list of the 2021 meeting dates and holidays. So what I typically do is at the end of December, I will go ahead and send invitations, meeting invites out to all of our board members, our consultants, and to Rose. And it'll have, you'll get an invitation for each one of those meeting dates. So you'll get 12 invitations. They come all at once. If you can take a look at the dates and obviously accept the invitation unless you have some conflict that you're aware of further down the road. And it looks like there were only two exceptions where we had to, I'm sorry, one for the DDA in October. I just wanted to highlight the meeting in October will be on a Wednesday instead of a Tuesday. And that's due to a holiday, which I think, I can't remember which one it is. So at any rate, you'll receive those invitations. If you can just be prompt in your response to it, that's great, because it'll go ahead and put it on your calendars. And you're all set then for 2021.
Okay, any questions? Okay, thanks, Tina. Okay, now on to reports. Tina.
Me again? Here. Need to share my screen.
I think we should change the agenda to just have like a Tina section.
Isn't that the way it is anyways?
Yeah.
Hey, it kind of happens regardless. Sorry. Okay, where is it? Here it is. Okay, so there's a couple of things I wanted to share with you. The first one is, in case you're not aware of this, last week the Oakland County Economic Development announced that they have instituted a program called Restaurant Rescue. And last night at the commissioners meeting, they approved $10 million from the CARES Act funding. I'm sorry, they approved $10 million. $7 million is coming from the CARES Act. And that includes direct grants that will be sent to those companies who are eligible for this grant, who applied for and received stabilization grants as well as any winterization grant applications as well. And the theory behind that is that the folks who had applied for those grants, the county already has all of their application information on record. And they really wanted to turn this grant around very quickly. And it's my understanding that up to 1,000 businesses will receive some type of funding. And the reason for this is the CARES Act money needed to be spent by the end of this year. And so this is why they're working very rapidly on this. The commissioners also approved an additional $3 million. And this is to support specific outdoor seating items or materials that restaurants in particular would need, such as heaters. They're actually looking at 8x12 greenhouses. They tried to look at additional domes, but they ran out of the domes. They're also looking at sandwich boards, any type of like signage that will help you communicate whether you're doing curbside carry out or if you have some type of outdoor seating available. So what's really interesting is they asked me to contact our restaurants and ask you, it's almost like a wish list. They created the wish list and then they want me to let them know which items you would be interested in. So I'm starting that process and then I need to get that back to them. And then there's going to be another type of application process that will begin somewhere around December 15th. And then in addition to that, the Michigan Liquor Control also extended their temporary outdoor seating through April of 2021. And so at the Township Board meeting last night, there was a resolution to extend our outdoor, the laxing of our outdoor seating regulations. And we were going to go through the end of March, but because of the NLCC, the Township Board agreed to go to the end of April of 2021 as well. So the only thing that's different with the resolution is that we now have to just update the form. I had to create a new form, a new application form, taking into consideration some of the rules and guidelines that were instituted in this new resolution. So what that means is I just need to go to the restaurants that want to have outdoor seating and share with them those guidelines, and then also have them fill out, it's like a 2-page application to submit back to the township. And then the planner and our building inspector and our fire marshal will take a look at it. So an example you can see in this picture, this is outdoor seating over at the New Hudson Inn. And so they had reached out initially to the fire department to see if this is something that was permitted, and they agreed. So he actually has 8 of these fire pits set up. And the only thing, and so they got approval through the fire department, but we just need to have a new application submitted that includes all of their setup, ingress, egress, are they taking up parking spaces, however that's going to work for whichever route the restaurant owner wants to take. So I'm excited that the county has committed this money for our restaurants, but it is a little concerning because I think they know that there's going to be restrictions or that there's going to be extensions to the health epidemic order. And so they're responding in kind. Based on what the restaurants are telling me, they would much rather be open and managing within the guidelines of, a certain percentage of people in their building. A lot of them have already invested in a lot of PPE material and equipment and training to help their employees and their patrons eat and work safely in an open restaurant. So they're expressing a lot of frustration with this, especially around the holidays. A lot of restaurants employ young people and single parents, and they're just not making the kind of money that they would make normally around the holiday season. And it's a little disheartening. So, and then I also wanted to share, these are just some photos of our holiday display set up both during the day and night. And I personally want to give a huge thanks to Troy. Troy has just been my partner in crime in this project, helping. We were out in the cold. We had rain dripping off of us.
Snow, wind.
And then it started to snow, and we had electrical issues and challenges, and we have about, I think it's 15 inflatables
Yep.
out there and lights. And I'll tell you, all that hard work really, and we did have some help from some other volunteers too, which we're very appreciative. But the hard work really paid off when we stopped by to check on the lights, and there were about 5 or 6 children going through at that time. And when they got to the end, they were just squealing with laughter. And all we heard from the parking lot was cheese, because they were getting their pictures taken. And then they kept asking their parents if they could go back around again. I think while we were there, they probably went through that little walkway about 4 or 5 times. And so that was really exciting to just kind of see how happy they were. And some of the feedback that we're getting is, they're just happy that there's a place to go, something that's family friendly. We do have our shop small, our dine local and shop local signs up there as well. I'm working on the sign too. You can see we have our social distancing sign. And then I have a sign that is noting that is hosted by the DDA as well. So it's completed, it's open. We have the inflatables turning on about 4 o'clock. So folks who want to walk through it during the daytime, they can. And then it is running at night until 10 p.m. So we do have it on timers. However, the timers are dusk to dawn. So we physically have to go out, and we have the pastor helping us out with that. He turns on the lights at 4, and then Troy or I will go out there and then switch it over to dusk to dawn. I'm sorry, dusk plus 5 or 6 hours. So that
5 or something, right?
Yeah. So far so good. Everything is really tied down well. Troy was kind enough to let us use his tent stakes to really make these secured so they're not going to blow away. And we do state in our marketing and advertising that it will not be open during inclement weather. So if the winds get higher or we're experiencing things like freezing rain or heavy snow, we will turn those off just to keep the motors from burning out. So, but I'd encourage you to stop by and check it out. It's open daily, and we have had folks say that they park there and walk through it and then headed over to the winery or over to the New Hudson Inn or Jonah's, or Novellas. So that's what it's there for. It's to attract people and foot traffic into the downtown to help our businesses. Any questions on that?
Tina, I have a question. Have we offered the church any kind of compensation for the electricity?
What we haven't. We kind of broached the topic in one of our initial meetings. At this stage, I think they're just exceptionally grateful for the exposure, and it has really injected a lot of excitement for their congregation. And they did help create. And I think I have it on the next. Yeah, they helped us create these lollipops. These are pool noodles that are wrapped in colored duct tape. And we supplied the supplies for these, and then their volunteers went ahead and created them for us. And we have those on display. And
Tina, I have a boatload of those red ribbons. That would be kind of the bows. They'd be kind of cute on there because we don't have the bows on ours.
Yeah, we could add those bows, definitely.
One more thing.
Yeah. But yeah, John, it's not, I don't know. Troy, you and I were talking about the load, what we thought might be.
You know, John, it's kind of their contribution to what we're bringing to them. You know, and then Pastor John was very good about it. He says, we're contributing power or, the electricity, and they were good with that. Because of the exposure that they're getting, they were comfortable with paying for the electricity. So we really didn't offer it to them.
Okay.
We did have an issue with one of the outside GFIs that just kept wanting to blow and trip. And it would trip, and then we would go in the building and we would see that there was no, the circuit hadn't tripped. And we're like, well, how is that even possible? So we just weren't familiar. So I had reached out to Jerry Tyrell, and he sent his son over the next morning, and then we learned that in the bell tower itself, there's actually there's a fuse box in the bell tower. And so they upped they put in some type of a fuse breaker in there and then changed out the GFI, and we redistributed the power. So we were pulling more power off the building versus the bell tower. And that really seemed to solve the problem. So that was an upgrade for the church. They were able to get a new GFI. And so they can use that moving forward. But I'm more excited with the fact that we're building a really strong relationship with that community, and they just have this beautiful front lawn that we can take advantage of for special events and moving forward for outdoor concerts and all of that. And they seem very excited about this, and it's a first for them and it's a first for us. And we have built, I think, a really strong relationship and in partnership with them.
Okay.
And the Love for Lying campaign continues. We do have a full page ad in I don't know what happened there. Sorry. Yikes. We have a full page ad in the Lying Today magazine that just came out. And that will last for, I think, a month and two more months, this month and then January and February. And we've also created in the downtown selfie stations. And these are just fun opportunities for people. You know, if you're taking carry out, you know, stop inside the Hudson building, get your picture taken with these cutouts. Also, this little snowman set up. And then Al Stewart, who is a resident, he lives on Milford Road. He had a lot of these character cutouts. He had like a whole bunch of Whoville folks and also the Peanuts gang. And so he was kind enough to lend those to us for display. And so we have those set up, and then we took the Grinch and Max and put them over by the Mitten Animal Hospital to encourage folks to come and have their pet's picture taken. And you can see here's Troy and Bella getting their picture taken. And then
that is a matching outfit.
Yeah, it is. And then we also have another selfie station over at the post office. And then Chris Stone has one at his location. And the other thing that we're doing this year is we're promoting Light Up Lion with our business owners. And that is encouraging them to decorate their buildings and their front lawns. And I know Paula has done a great job at her location. Carissa is also participating in the Chamber's window decoration contest. The Chamber is hosting that as well. And so cardio drumming is an exercise place in our DDA. And the ladies there, I laugh because they do cardio drumming. So of course they have tons of energy. And they were very excited to help us out this year. So they took on the new Hudson Plaza. And for the first time since I've been here, they've actually have lit up the plaza with holiday lights and decorated their windows and their storefronts and their doors. And Dan Teresco added holiday lights to his building, which we've not seen before. So that was also very exciting to see in the downtown. So we're also working now with the library. They're interested in helping out, whether it's putting up some trees on display or maybe even hosting a scavenger hunt. Scavenger hunts are another nice project to take on because you're not bringing tons of people into the downtown all at one time. It's something that people can do over time. So we're trying to make use of our social media outlets, our Facebook page. We're partnering with our task force, with the city and with the Chamber, which has an Instagram page for the Love for Lion. We're still pushing our t-shirt sales, again, to just build brand awareness and get people out shopping and helping out. And then we also promoted Shop Small Saturday. That was another big push on the campaign. And again, if you have a Facebook page and you're on the DDA board, you should like our Facebook page because that'll make sure that you're kept up to date on all of the information being provided. And then I also continue to manage the COVID response and recovery page for our business owners, keeping them up to date on all of the announcements from the state and sharing all of the free webinars and podcasts that are being made available either through the Small Business Association, the Restaurant and Lodging Association, or Oakland County's Economic Development. So just making sure that they're aware of all the tools that are out there to help them. One of the tools that came out with the Small Business Association today was a very candid discussion about bankruptcy. And so for anybody who was struggling with that or not sure what that entailed, that was a helpful seminar. And then the county also is offering a grant, 4 hours of free advice from a lawyer and from a CPA. So that's something that any business can take advantage of. All they have to do is reach out to the county and sign up and register, and they get 4 free hours of professional advice. So there's a lot to go on, going on, a lot taking place in our DDA, and a lot of promotion and marketing taking place. Oh, and then what was the other thing? Oh, last night too, the Township Board approved some rules and guidelines on how to hold our meetings moving forward. As you can imagine, with COVID, there's a lot of fluid activity taking place. Initially, we were told we could go back to having, or we were going to be required to have meetings in person in January. But now the legislators are looking to maybe extend that through March. So Carol had presented to the Township Board some rules and guidelines on how to manage our meetings moving forward. So I'll make sure to keep you all informed on what's going on, because like I said, it is a pretty fluid situation, and almost on a weekly basis, we get different information from the state on how to approach this. And that would conclude my report.
Hey, Tina, one other thing, maybe you want to let them know about the testing center. That was approved.
Well, John, why don't you give them an update on that?
Well, last night at the board, we also approved a testing center. Oakland County asked if they could use our Fire Station 2 parking lot because of the size of it. Now, that would be by appointment only, but that's a free testing center run by Oakland County for COVID that could be turned into also a vaccinating center if that all comes through. But I think next Friday, they're going to start the process of free testing at Fire Station 2. So anyone you know, Lyon Township, that it wants to be tested for free, they don't have to go to Pontiac now. They can go right here to Fire Station 2, give a call, and you'll get tested for COVID if you'd like.
Nice.
So, just an update on that. That was kind of a nice thing. We have it nice and close now.
Nice. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Any questions for Tina? Tina, you have anything else to add?
Nope, that would be it.
Any questions?
Do we know if that testing station, will they be doing the rapid test, or do we know which tests they're going to be doing?
Now, I'll tell you, Paula, I don't know that for fact. I would think it was the 3-day deal or the so many hour deal, just because I know that they're more accurate from what I understand. I do think it's probably more of that, 3 hour, 4 hour, I think.
PCR.
Well, I could find that out.
That'd be great, because if we can refer people over there, I know I've got patients almost daily calling me, telling me they were exposed and trying to get tested or just quarantining. But yeah, in the absence of going to Pontiac, that'd be awesome.
Now you have to remember, it is by appointment only. And the reason they're doing that is so they don't have big, large lines. And so they will have to get an appointment to get that test, but it is free.
Are there any other restrictions like Lyon Township residents or anything like that?
You know what? We just approved the first part of that the agreement last night. And I think there's going to be some ironing out to do. And I think things like that will be more knowing in the future.
Okay.
But the good thing is, I think Friday is the first day. This Friday.
Wow.
They're starting, so.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thanks, Tina. Thank you, John. Mark, Economic Restructuring Committee.
Not a lot new to report, other than we are going to be meeting here shortly to review our tax abatement report cards. We've had a number of companies over the last few years that have taking advantage of that. And from time to time, we'll get questions as to the thought process behind it. I think it's a good idea to take a look at that. And if you have any recommendations or suggestions, we'll bring them to the board for your comments.
Great. Thank you. Promotion committee, me, we were busy. We've been busy. So kind of, hopefully the community will see the results of our efforts. Like Tina said, I've gone up there a couple of nights or early to turn lights on, and people were sitting in the cars waiting. So that was kind of exciting to see people waiting. And I watch them walk from the church on down they go to the Mitten, and they go to Paula's and take pictures with the dogs in the yard, and then they go on down to New Hudson Inn. Paula had a great idea of maybe next year we do a north of Grand River versus south of Grand River for a north versus south competition or something like that. So I thought that was kind of a cute idea, but we'll be meeting in January to talk about 2021 plans. It'd be kind of nice to have a close Grand River down maybe in May or June for a release party for us. So, so we do a release party, and then we'll do a real holiday party with like we planned for this year. So that's it for promotion committee.
I like the idea of a North Grand River poll versus the South Grand River poll.
Oh, poll.
Hey, that's great. Yeah. Okay. Cute idea there. Okay. Design and appearance. Robert's not here. Tina, do you have any update from Robert or anything?
No, not at this time.
Okay. Organization committee. We don't have a chair for that.
That'll be you eventually.
Again, we don't have a chair for that. Let me repeat that. Again, we don't have a chair for that. Township board, John, any other updates you'd like to present to us?
Not a lot. I mean, the water system is still moving forward. The good thing is that we were just approved finally to submit drawings for our softening plants, which it took us forever to get to that point. And now that we've got to that point, I think we're actually going to have softened water probably within 8 months. So that's really exciting for me. We've been working on this water system for so long, and it's so close to being the best it could ever be. And I'm pretty proud of that. And then the Township Hall. The Township Hall's coming right along. We're putting a very large addition on the hall. We're all excited about that. It has a full 5,000 square foot basement. A nice elevator shaft going up and down. It's got a nice 5,000 square foot upper level with offices and mail rooms and all the things that bring us into the 21st century. We also have updated the complete sheriff's office. The entire basement now is going to be the sheriff's office. So, and that's coming along really, really well. Things are looking really good at the township, and our budgets are in really, really good shape. And I just think the township's in a really good place right now, even though COVID has, knocked us apart a little bit. We've come through it pretty well, and it's everybody, doing their part to make it happen. It's pretty exciting. Pretty good times to be in Lyon Township.
Nice. And I don't know if this was announced last meeting, but congratulations on the re-election. I know it's a close call.
Thank you. Thank you, Troy.
And thank you for your leadership too. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
We've already started on your campaign for another 4 after this. I don't think Chris is with us tonight, correct? No Chris McKenna planner report?
Hello, everybody.
Yeah, there he is. Oh, I'm sorry, Chris, I didn't see you on.
I hope everyone's doing well. I will try and not keep you too long. I'm sure you want to get to your nights. So we have.
Oh, no, that happened to me last night.
Chris, we lost you.
I didn't think it was that cold out that he froze.
Okay.
What were you saying about not keeping us too
We'll
long?
wait for him to log back on. I didn't know he was on.
He did say he was going to keep it short.
Apparently.
While we wait for him to come back on, I thought,
There he is. He's coming.
Oh, there we go. See there?
One other thing, by the way, if anyone on this board would ever like to take a tour of our brand new water treatment plants, or, you know, at any time, our water towers, anything the township owns, I would be more than happy to take anyone on a guided tour. We are really, really, really proud of it. And I think you would be too, if you took a tour of the water plant. So anyone want to do that, just please ask. I'm available.
Love that stuff. I love that kind of stuff. I would love to do that.
It is super impressive too, what we do for the water customers. It's really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I will take you up on that.
So you just name the time, we'll go out there.
Perfect. Sounds good.
Thanks, Paul.
It's fun. It's fun to actually get a tour of the inside of a water tower.
I am like, that just sounds really, really cool.
And just FYI, our 100 feather flags, our dine and shop local feather flags, have been removed and stowed away for the winter in the water tower. So it had a tall enough build. It was a tall enough building, right, John, to hold our 16-foot flags.
It's to keep the flags clean too.
Yeah.
If we're touring the water tower, do we have to wear our bathing suits?
Hey, maybe. No, but you do have to climb to the top of the ladder. So
Okay.
it's one of the requirements.
Here comes Chris. There he is.
Oh, did you guys wait for me?
We did.
Oh, wow. I feel very
Absolutely.
special. I'll try do my best for you all. I appreciate that.
Well, we love your reports. You do. You're awesome.
So John and Tina didn't say this, but the board had a very long agenda last night, and a lot of it had to do with planning. They approved the final portion of the plan development for ZOT. So it is done with its board and planning commission approval process, and we'll move into the engineering and building reviews before it can go forward. Upcoming, we have a site plan that is we expect to be submitted tomorrow for the Lion Industrial Research Center, and they're kind of I guess I'm not supposed to say too much before they submit, but they're unique. Brian told me this afternoon that they either just did or are about to contact Tina to go through. Okay, so they're going to go through the abatement process. So perhaps you'll have a new scorecard for them by the time they go through that. But and then outside of the DDA, a new culverts on Pontiac Trail near 9 Mile got approved by the Township Board for special land use last night. And at the upcoming Planning Commission meeting, the Lion Cantina will be back for approval.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, it's not the Lion Cantina, it's the owner of the property.
So
who wants to build a restaurant.
Yeah.
A Mexican restaurant, but not the Lion Cantina.
So I remember you saying that, and you very well may be right. But at the top of the front page of the site plan, it says Lion Cantina. So
oh, interesting. Okay.
Maybe. I don't know.
So is that Victor? Because Victor was property owner, I believe.
Well, Victor is the business owner. There's a different person who owns the property.
Okay.
Yeah. So it looks good. That will require a variance for some parking issues, but I think that it should be okay to go, hopefully, from a planning perspective at least. And then beyond kind of site plan approval, we are working through a number of amendments. The board gave some direction about lot width and setback in the R10 residential district last night. And we have an overlay district for the area actually kind of immediately adjacent to the Lion Cantina for some new lot width standards to make development a little easier for that neighborhood. Beyond that, we don't have any kind of development applications on the horizon for the DDA area, but obviously if something comes up before January, I'll let you know.
The only update I would say for those projects that have already started is Jiffy Lube is under construction right now, and the professional medical building that is across from Walmart I've actually had some of the tenants, new tenants reach out to me as they are getting close to moving into those locations. So that's exciting. It's a really nice building. It sits over there by the daycare center in Chase Bank.
That went up fast.
Did.
Mhm.
Did.
And then
Chris, anything else or any questions? Anything else?
no, just thanks for hanging around for me. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, Chris. Thank you for all your work too. Okay. Do we have anything that was removed? Nope. Do we have a motion for adjournment?
Don't move.
That was Tim. Was that you, Tim?
Yep.
And before we vote on that, everybody have a great holiday.
We need a
Who's the
second.
Who's the
Mark
second?
Zerwag will second.
Okay. And you need a roll, so it is Tim,
Yep.
Carissa,
Yes.
Jason,
Yes.
Paula,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Adorno,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Troy.
Yes.
Night, everyone.
Good
Hey,
night.
everyone. Have a, hope you all
everybody.
have a safe and happy holiday, you guys.
You as well.
Same to you.
Same deal.
Good night, John
Yep.
Boy.
Thank you all.